right? I know. A couple of years ago, I missed out on the chance of making some serious money, and it took me quite some time after that to realize what I did wrong. Hi, my name is Heini, aka the Voice of Chief, and I've been doing voiceovers and radio production since 2002. Despite that, I still make mistakes and learn from them. So allow me to give you some advice so you don't make the same mistake that I did. I'll be showing you what I did wrong in my DAW, digital audio workstation, so this doesn't happen to you. Let's begin. Welcome to this session where I teach you how to get your recordings as raw as possible and some things that you may overlook and things that you may be accidentally rendering into your raw recording that doesn't make it really raw when you submit it to the client. So let's go into my DAW, which is the digital audio workstation. In this case, I'm working on my Pro Tools session. Okay, so whenever you get a script from a client, obviously you record it into your DAW, and this is how I would suggest you do things in your DAW so that you are submitting a raw file. Okay, so in this session, I have here, I already recorded the script. Okay, obviously, step number one is you want to make sure that you are getting rid of all the bad takes and just leaving the good takes, okay? So this is the raw take.
Kayang halaga. San damakmak na produkto sa abot kayang halaga na kayang-kaya mo?
Okay. So if you notice, I made a mistake there. Just to fast forward, make it a little faster. So I already cleaned it out, and here it is. These are all the good takes of that script. Now, what I would want to do is, I would, normalize, okay, for all you guys who are Adobe Audition users or even other DAWs. I think normalize is across all DAWs nowadays. So anyways, I would suggest that, make a copy. Why would you want to make a copy? So that if ever you want to change like a certain part like this one and replace it with another from the raw recording here, then do so. Just as long as you do not touch the takes that you like here and just work on a new set of files here. So I would normalize it because when I normalize things in Pro Tools, it would mix it down into one file. So here we go, normalize it. Okay, I will just normalize it as flat. There you go. And what I would also do, I would clean a little bit. Okay, I don't know. I guess you could call it like a force of habit that I like to. Since I was a Adobe Audition user before, so I would normalize and reduce background noise. Yeah, I would clean it. Okay. Anyways, let me just show you what I did that screwed up, my chances of that $10,000 project. Okay, so I mixed it down and then I cleaned it some. So I used my Clarity VX mono. So I'm just randomly just putting some numbers in there. So I rendered that in there. Okay. And after that, just to clean it some more, I add in my NS1 mono. Not more than 20%, I would advise. Okay. So when I was done with that, I just bounced it. I just mixed it down, so bounce it and then blah, blah, blah. Just make sure it's whatever the specs that the client was asking for then. So the client then was asking me, submit it in 24-bit mono, 48,000 hertz. So yeah, so I followed everything. So here it was, mono, 24-bit, 48, and then I just mixed it down, okay? A few days later, the client tells me, like, my recording, the file that I submitted was too loud, that it had so much stuff, so much secret sauce in there. So I was like, oh, right, okay. Because if you look over here, I have a sibilance plugin in here, just to get rid of sibilance. So I'm like, okay, so I have to turn that off. Okay, turn that off. And then I looked further, my track is routed to my aux1, and my aux1 has all of these plugins. So I'm like, okay, so I need to turn this one off, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. And then I mixed it down again, you know? So after mixing it down, and so I still made sure that everything was in order, mono, 24-bit, 48,000, okay, save, bounce. Again, like the next day, the client tells me, oh, the sound engineer says that, there's still something that's pushing it. I'm like, what else am I, okay, when I say push it, there's something that's still compressing the plugin further. So I looked at my master track. I'm like, oh, I still have some stuff in there. So I removed that, and then I submitted, okay, after turning off those plugins. Then, like the next day, the client tells me, now it's too weak. I'm like, okay, I'm confused. What else do you want? What else do you want? I turned off everything. What do you want? Turns out, after the back and forth, they kind of gave up on me. Even if they chose me out of 50 or 60 candidates for the job. And I was obviously bummed because, man, that's a lot of money. That's 10 G's, dude. So I guess it took me like a year or 2 years later to realize what I did wrong. So let me turn on everything again. So I'm turning on whatever I have there on my aux, on my master, and my aux, in my track. Okay. So I would suggest, so once you're done with normalizing and cleaning, I would suggest also don't clean. You can normalize, just do not clean. Okay, because the clients who want raw, depending on how professional they are or how critical they are of sound, the reason why they don't want you to clean your audio is because they want to hear your sound space, your room tone. They want to hear everything that your room has, and they also want to hear the natural feed from your microphone. Okay, that's why some clients, especially those critical of sound, they want it raw. They want your recording raw. They want to hear what it sounds like without any of your secret recipes in there. Okay? So if they ask for raw, the only thing that you can really do is normalize, nothing else. Okay? So let me remove this. Let's do another one. Okay. So the only thing that I would suggest is normalize. Okay, so normalize. Okay, after you normalize, before you send it off, okay, depending on which DAW you're using, if you're kind of like advanced as me, or you have a lot of stuff happening in your tracks, take note of the things you want to get rid of or turn off, okay? So on your track, you want to make sure that you don't have any plugins that are on. So let's say this one, I have a sibilance plugin on here, so I would turn that off. So instead of, my initial mistake was like turn off everything in my aux, when I could have just routed like this track to go all the way to my master. Okay, so it goes all the way down there. And then obviously turn off whatever plugins, mastering plugins you have there. But the one thing that I forgot, I realized, if you look over here, my volume was down by -10 decibels. Like, damn, that is why the client was saying that, the recording was too weak. So make sure that that is also at a 0. Same goes for your master, because my master is also at a -3 decibels because I have a lot of stuff that's pushing the audio. So make sure that that's 0, that's 0. There are no plugins in there. Even if I have plugins here, it's routed to my master anyways. So from this track, exit it all the way to your master and make sure all plugins on the track and your volume are flat. And then you send it. And then you'll have a higher chance that you get the job, because what you're offering now is for them to easily detect what could be wrong with your microphone, your sound space, and basically that's it. They'll be able to hear everything. And that's my best advice. Keep things simple. Don't be like me who overcomplicates things. So record, get the good takes, normalize, Make sure there's nothing on there when you bounce it and before sending it to the client. And then you'll have a higher chance of getting the job. Trust me. To sum it up, edit out the bad takes and leave only the good takes. It's okay to normalize and lightly reduce some background noise, unless the client says otherwise. No adding of EQs or compressors, or you can also send the client another file that has all of your secret sauce plugins. Make sure that you mix down your file and check if you are accidentally rendering some plugins to your recording before submitting. If you follow these tips, then you are submitting your recording as raw yet clean as possible. Good luck.